Hello, Internet. Sorry for the delayed opening. I was just outrageously fucking livid! This is Fanfiction Contempt Theater 9003. Let's get this story started. So, I have been requested by Atin tonight to read some Fate shit. And
Because
who
Fate's
am
running
I?
the best event in the world, the one
Who
where they
am
make
I?
fun of their own shitty writing.
Who am I to deny him some garbage tier Fate crap? Especially featuring Saberface.
Oh boy. I'll be back in just a moment. I think dinner's ready.
I thought he was getting his gun.
I don't have a gun.
You
What?
should.
You're a Suthner. There's a gun. Listen, if you just look hard enough, you will find a gun within 100 feet.
I'm gonna go watch the Bernie Sanders stream. Well,
There's a Bernie
Arn,
Sanders stream.
I don't know what to say, but I guess you can never be happy with me. And yeah, I guess there's a Bernie Sanders stream now. I don't know, man. I don't know how this works. Let me just remove that timer up there.
Okay,
Booty
so I'm sorry.
Scooty.
So I've
Production
just
booty.
been alerted.
Yeah.
So the Shed Aquarium is closed because of the coronavirus, which is
Uh-huh.
of course no surprise and doesn't matter. But they
What?
decided to let the penguins out under caretaker supervision and just let them wander around.
Okay.
They seemed very confused.
Excellent. Anyway, so this is Fate, the Sword Emperor. A pure Fate's Day Night fic. Truck-kun has
God
strike
damn it.
again. Has strike again. Okay. I have been reborn as Lucius Tiberius, the rival of the King of Knights. Now, let's see who will have the greater legend, my rival. I need a comma there. The so-called perfect king or the greatest flawed emperor. I don't know why those are air quoted. I'm fairly sure those aren't up for debate. Boomers are going to be mad at Trump about their 401ks being diminished. No, they're not. Our 401ks are going to be diminished. The boomers are going to have some sort of super guarantee of them not losing any money at all ever because they're fucking boomers and that's all they want. They all want money.
You see, I have circumvented the problem by not yet having a 401k. Haha, because I'm too poor.
I mean, I guess if your father owns the company or manages it. Most businesses, like, automatically give you the 401k whether you want it or not. I don't want mine.
I would say, in my case, I haven't been there for a year yet, so I'm not eligible for it.
Yeah, in all the jobs that I've worked, the 401k is back paid 3 months if you've been there for once you've been there for 3 months. They go, okay, so you've actually been here for 3 months. We'll back pay it. But it's money out of my wallet, and I don't like that. I don't like some fucking rando investing my money poorly because his computer told them to. If I want to lose money, I damn well do it myself. Anyway, so this is the author's note. Hello everyone. This is my first time posting a fanfic online. I mostly keep to myself, but hey, it's gonna be a new year. So what the heck, right? Now before you read this, let me tell you, I am a new writer, and I've never read a book before. So my story might be bad. I'm open to constructive criticism with logical points, but not emotional ones. I have seen fanfic writer like a dyslexic writer giving up on good story because of flame, like Wandering of Sword Hero. No, dyslexic writer gave up on Wandering of Sword Hero not because of the flames, but because of the popularity of the story. There are certain people with certain personality traits that cause them to dislike being popular, even though the work they do is making them popular. So what they end up doing is they end up dropping the work that makes them popular. But there's a problem there is that they've already become popular due to that work, so every time they start a new work, some of that popularity carries over. And that's actually been the reason why Dyslexic Writer has dropped so many stories, is they either lose the motivation because the story isn't popular enough, or they have too much popularity and they overstress themselves thinking they somehow need to fit a standard that they weren't fitting before. Which it always struck me as a little bit weird, because it's like, I wouldn't feel more stressed to make this show better if we had suddenly like 1,000 viewers. Like, sure, yeah, I would probably like shit post just a little bit less in certain directions if we had 1,000 people here. Not censor myself, but like, you know, not just go off on random tangents that have nothing to do with fan fiction at all.
We might try to keep the show a wee bit more on track.
Yeah. But I wouldn't be like overly concerned. Like, oh man, you know, do I need a better banner now that I have 1,000 people watching me? I'd be like, no, this is a good ass banner. If someone else wants to give me a banner, that's fucking fabulous. But you know,
We're not gonna make it.
I'm just completely unconcerned if I had a spike in popularity. I would welcome it, because that would be more people listening to me, and that's always a great thing, because I give the worst fucking advice.
This banner is... I can't tell if this banner is aged poorly or well.
It's a new
Which
banner.
banner?
I made a new one to represent the new year.
What has he done?
I'm talking
No
about...
one can hear you, Nose. Put the mic closer to your
Are you
face.
talking about the channel banner?
Yes.
Close to my mouth, my dude.
It doesn't look new.
Nose
Like
hair,
Twitch.
you have to be closer to your mic.
No one can hear you.
Hello, can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. My fucking mic got turned off for some reason. I had to
Yes,
turn
we
it
figured
off.
that out. Which I recommend you read if you're a fan of Fate and Rising of Shield Hero. Finally, I do not know what will be my updating schedule, since next week I'm going to school after Christmas break, so I will be busy with school and life, and I'm also lazy. Though I don't know, I will try one chapter every 1 or 2 weeks, either Saturday or Sunday. I mean, like, hey man, power to you. Let's see if he kept that promise. Published 2019, December 31st, updated February 16th, 7 chapters. Yeah, I guess he's pretty much kept that promise. So, I mean, you know, good on him.
Like, even, well, how long? What's the average word count?
Average word count per chapter is 2K words.
I mean,
There was an
week's
effort.
kind of weak, but if it's his
Yeah,
first chapter,
there was an
first
effort.
story,
Yeah. I mean, my problem, for example, is that I am drowning in depression, and I basically just have to shut myself out from the world by playing mindless video games where I can indulge in rage, so I don't end up getting a gun and murdering all my coworkers. So,
or yourself.
well, that comes after.
Here's the thing. I feel like you would get halfway there and just go, you know what? I don't hate any of these people enough to shoot them.
No, see, that's where all the Dota and other games come into play. But that sucks my motivation to murder everyone around me out.
Because you're too busy wishing you could find strangers on the internet and murder them.
Exactly. Video games don't make you violent. No, video games actually make me the opposite of violent. They make me unviolent. You should have seen what I was like before I had video games.
I saw the occasions when he had to go without video games during finals. I don't...
Max has seen me without video games. I was a fucking loop.
He just... Here's the problem.
I feel like I usually got you during, like, the upswings, though.
Yeah, you usually did get me during my mania moments, yeah.
Here's the problem, right? There's a dial for sneaky, and it goes from 0 to full sneaky. The problem is, when he doesn't have video games, there's a secret mode on there which is when you actually turn it down under 0, and it can swing to negative all the way back up to
Negative
+10.
full sneaky.
Yes.
Might be something to that.
Sure. But no, I got back in the day before I was started allowed to play video games, so it's like around the 2000s is when I actually got access to video games. Which I mean, admittedly is, you know, like first grade and shit, but I still have memories of like kindergarten, for example. I stole 5 sticks of Go-Gurt from the other kids, proceeded to beat the shit out of some kid with them, and then I smashed them in my hand, coating half of the classroom in Go-Gurt.
I
You
am
know,
surprised you made it anywhere in the public education system,
you know,
even with the low standards.
They
You know-
wanted to hold
you know
me
what I
back
was
for
doing?
being retarded.
do you know what I was doing in kindergarten? I was having secret meetings with girls in bushes because you weren't supposed to be friends with girls because they had cooties.
Oh, I just threw pine cones at everyone.
Yes, I'm aware. Some of us are not enormous jackasses. Or at least we weren't. We've said cynicism and life has since made us into one, but I didn't originally begin with it. I began life as a kind, cheerful individual who was helpful.
Oh man, I had my glasses broken so fucking often. Holy shit.
There is a lot that suddenly makes sense now.
And what is that supposed to mean?
I absolutely deserved half of them.
Please,
At
elaborate,
least.
Nose.
Oh no, I was saying there's a reason Sneaky is, the way he is, and now we've heard about his childhood, and I'm just like, oh, so that's why he's a colossal loner.
Okay,
and
but now the
asshole.
problem. Okay, but here's the thing. Now the problem becomes: wait, what made him like that as a child? 'Cause if this
Oh,
is
that's
consistent
the
behavior from
horrible
childhood-
that's the horrible home life that would.
Yeah, I
do
was
it.
gonna say, I mean, if we're consulting base psychology tables, if we look under Freud, the answer is his mother.
Hmm.
I mean, it's basically generally the whole
I
family.
was gonna say,
Reasonable
now
point.
the problem with this is that is normally a joke when people go, aha, Sigmund Freud, parents, blah blah blah, mothers, Oedipus complexes. In Sneaky's case, the Oedipus complex is wrong. Everything else is correct.
Yeah, it was something. It was something.
At least I'm going out on a limb here and assuming the Oedipus complex is wrong, right?
No, man, I can't even get normal sexual attraction, and you think I can get sexual attraction from my fucking mom? Anyway, so back to this garbage fucking story. Enough about that.
Thank you.
I know, Nose Hair doesn't like bringing up those days where he fucked my mom.
Nose Hair is in fact the father.
Normally you get told that someone else is fucking your mom, but I've never had someone say I fucked their mom. It's usually not how that works. You're supposed to follow the Xbox Live code, Sneaky.
Yeah,
not
well,
supposed to-
I played the Uno reverse card.
I see. I'm still not fucking your mom.
There's a lot of things I hate. Hypocrites, stubborn idiots, who hold on to their beliefs that cause harm just because they can't admit they were wrong. I mean, honestly, that's not always because they can't admit they're wrong. It's because they literally don't know they're in the wrong. I've met a lot of people like that. I got banned from a lot of places filled with people like that.
No, hold on a minute. There are plenty of places you were banned from because you were an asshole about it. There were plenty of places where people went, you might be right, but you're also an asshole.
This is true.
You are the embodiment
like
of
how
that line
quick-
from The Big
yeah.
Lebowski. You are the embodiment of that line.
Oh,
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying you're an asshole.
Yeah.
As my mother has recently pointed out to me, I seem to have a massive problem with any figure of authority.
No
And-
shit.
No.
And basically cannot help myself to poke and prod at people who have hypothetical authority over me.
No, not you, Sneaky. Never you.
You authority problems. No.
Like that admin on the Gary's Mod server, Max, who respawned me and gave me a deagle. And then I just fucking capped him in the back of the head.
Okay, so my question
No,
is,
no,
why
hold
you
on.
didn't think that
Let's
was
be
going
clear
to
here.
happen?
Let's be clear here. Sneaky doesn't have authority issues.
No, he
Sneaky
just has.
Authority
he
has
doesn't have an
issues
authority
with Sneaky.
complex. Sneaky has an authority military-industrial complex.
He
It's
just
a
has problems, following any instructions at all.
Sneaky. Do you remember our poor attempts at trolling on the Russian servers?
Oh, yeah.
Unatco?
You are old woman.
UNESCO?
And oh god, I
Why
still
contain it?
like the 12-year-old Russian squeakers trying to make fun of meeps by saying American pig. It's like, what the fuck is this supposed to do, kid? You
American
gotta step up
pig.
your game. There are more descriptive words than that.
Oh god, that was great. We were both using Google Translate, but the Google
Americans insult each
Translate
other
for
much worse,
Russian
like,
to English
on a
is
daily
way
basis.
worse than the Google Translate for English to Russian. And so whenever they did insults, they were like calling an Abel's like, "You old woman," and shit like that.
And we would just spam Unatco through Google Translate through some digital wire magic I set up on my laptop.
You just spam that one line.
What is wrong with you people?
I mean, to be fair, spamming UNESCO.
Okay, well, that was back when I was going on my spree of getting banned from Gary's Mod servers. I think we stopped around server like 365 or something.
I mean,
gotta
Max, if
say-
you wanted to do the full spam Deus Ex experience, you should have done the entire Bob Page speech. Just do the whole thing just over mic.
The single biggest problem is that, like, you go to a Russian server and you try to troll them, and guess what? They don't care. Nothing
Oh
you can
no,
do
no,
is
it worked.
worse
No,
than
they
an
were
actual
fucking
Russian.
angry.
No,
Oh
no,
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 it
they
worked on
were
that server.
angry.
They were
People-
actually upset.
Russians get actually surprisingly angry sometimes.
6 months is indeed an amount of time, and I appreciate your money, Super Potatoes.
Potatoes.
Anyway, we've derailed like TruckCon has, and finally I hate TruckCon. By now, you realize I died in the most cliche way ever of all time. No, I haven't realized that yet, actually. Now that I have, I kind of want to shoot myself, but since I don't own a gun, I guess I'm out of luck.
No, come on, Sneaky. Crossbows exist, and they're much easier to get a hold of.
Well, I live in a state that is constitutional carry, so your statement is invalid.
What? No, I'm willing to bet it's still easier to get a crossbow.
Probably.
So, kid, why are you buying this crossbow? I'm gonna Rube Goldberg myself to death.
I was just walking on sidewalk, and woman around her late 20s who was walking across the street and was about to be hit by a truck, and I pushed her out of the way!
You know what? I want to see an isekai start with. It starts with, like, the fucking weeb who's supposed to save someone, and instead they just trip them to make sure that they don't get hit by the truck.
And then the truck slips on them like a banana peel and hits them anyway.
No, I want it to be from the I want the reason the person gets, like, special powers and stuff to be like, okay, so the truck was supposed to hit the other guy. Not only did he jump out of the way, he made sure to push you into the way. So we're really sorry. He's going to hell. You're getting reincarnated.
I'm sorry, I just imagined probably one of the better openers to an isekai anime. Just, have like, maybe it's an office guy. No, wait, no, it's a little bit too close to 9/11. Fuck, can't do that one.
Oh my, sneaky. When you say I have a great opening to an isekai, and you say, wait, that's a little too close to 9/11.
Well, see, no, my brain was like,
you should probably swerve that train of thought real hard.
There's
No.
no swerving trains of thought when Sneaky's involved.
no, see, my brain
Sneaky's
was
train
like,
of thought is a bullet train.
my,
There is
my,
no
no, see, my brain wanted to like circumvent the whole like weeb sacrificing himself to save someone trope by having like just normal guy. He didn't get assassinated by anyone, didn't get pushed in front of a train, didn't die saving someone, by a knife or a truck or etc. But he's at work one day. He's actually like working late because he's got to get this project finished or whatever before weekend starts or some shit. And
Chokes to death on his late night bagel or something.
no, like his coffee starts jiggling, and he's like, wow, that's a lot of vibration. What the hell's going on? And he looks out the window just in time for like a meteor or a plane to hit the building that he's in, and he's just like, wow, I hate Final Destination.
I mean, that kind of
Sneaky.
sounds... I still... Okay.
A satellite crashes, but it's burned up enough that it takes out him and only him and like the 2 empty office floors around him.
Exactly. Like it's just complete subversion of the trope of just being like, nah, he didn't sacrifice himself. There was no like epic moment. Nah, he just looked out his window and a fucking like satellite hit him or some shit.
Well, no,
I
see,
still
the
think
real
the best-
subversion of the trope would be because they always wake up randomly or they get isekai. Have some dude commit like a heinous murder crime to summon a demon and get himself sent there that way. Like, just be like, I have summoned it, the Dread Lord. You killed 400 people in my name. What is your wish? To be reborn in another world.
It just goes
You
straight
could
to
have
get hit by a
anything.
truck.
It's like...
You could have just stepped in front of a truck.
You could have just stepped in front of it.
Satan, the life advisor. Okay, look, your life's really gone to shit, so I'm gonna help you into other worlds. It'll just happen again. So I'm gonna help you out. We're gonna get you back in shape.
Anyway, so I don't know
If you
why I
need
did it.
time, you
I'm no
committed-
hero. Okay, cool story, bro.
I'm no hero, but I saved
You know-
someone anyway.
I still think my favorite isekai ever is Nino Kuni 2, simply because it's the president and he just straight up starts capping motherfuckers as soon as he gets there.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
okay.
What?
What?
Oh, have you not seen this opening?
I'm gonna need more context into what the fuck you
I
just
have no
said.
interest in Nino Kuni, so no, I've never seen anything
I
about
hadn't
those
played
games.
Nino Kuni 1 and Nino Kuni 2 came out and I was like, I don't care.
Okay,
Wait, do I own
Um,
Nino Kuni too?
I'm going to
link
drop
this.
Did you
the
buy it
in-
on a Steam
I'm
sale?
going-
I might
I'm
have.
going to drop the intro, but I'm going to give you a quick synopsis. Actually, you know what? Just watch it. But basically, the president gets isekai'd, and I already said it, so whatever. Just watch it.
It's 3.5 minutes. We'll have to save that for later. But,
Oh shit! Yeah, that game. Yeah, I own it.
I think I would have had slightly higher expectations of this story if it's like, now I didn't push the woman out of the way. I watched the truck try to swerve and it just hit me instead.
Apparently Bernie Sanders somehow has 2K people watching him on Twitch. So I guess
That was before it went live, apparently.
I guess the only way to possibly get as many people is I just have to start sounding like Bernie Sanders. 5.5K. What we need is unlimited healthcare.
By the way, I just want to point out, no matter how interesting this opening is, it will sadly never be as good as Metal Wolf Chaos.
This is
Yeah.
true. However, it
Yeah.
is still a good opening.
Metal Wolf Chaos is an experience.
I still can't believe they thought the Americans would be offended.
I do
that's the
appreciate that
funny
Saints
thing
Row
of,
4
like-
paid homage to that.
Yes. Not quite good enough, but
Yeah.
They still did it though, which is more than nothing.
It was an attempt. Give him credit. It was an attempt.
I give him credit for it. It's just unfortunately it won't be as cool. And it never will be because Meadow Wolf can't. Okay, you're the president of the United States. I see. Okay, the game's begun. The White House has been destroyed. I see. You are now in a Gundam.
When the fuck do I get my giant robot?
Oh god. Now there's an isekai idea though. It's just you don't get special powers and shit. Just get a gun. Gun.
Enjoy your gun.
And every day you wake up, you have full ammo.
With his neutral special, he wields a gun.
Sneaky, you find the Demon Lord. Ah, hero! I have come to warn you of the future. You must defeat me and BAM!
How have you defeated all of my amazing generals?
One dig.
Turns out, enchanted steel armor doesn't do shit against 50s.
What is your name, great hero? My name is Juan. Juan.
You should be shot by Juan Deeg, the monster you created.
Now I just suddenly thought of Cyanide just doing that.
Sneaky.
How do you know you're the chosen one? Well, my name is Juan.
Sneaky, I can see the title now. In another world with my Barrett 50 cal.
That is probably a shit post somewhere on the Japanese novel sites.
In another world with a big iron.
In another world with my gotcha gun.
Sneaky, in another world with my M60.
Every time you reload, you just get a new gun randomly.
I know we just said Barrett 50 cal, but M60 seems a little overkill.
No, what's overkill? No, what's overkill is in another world with my MG42. Now we're entering overkill.
Well, at that point, you just start hearing the "It Ain't Me" soundtrack.
Sneaky.
Enter another world. "It Ain't Me" increases in volume.
Sneaky. In another world with my warthog. And so the demon lands came to fear the bird.
Oh boy. Anyway.
C8 showed up.
Yes, he did finally.
Oh, hey.
I know.
Finally.
Quarantine goes fine.
The quarantine. In another world with my orbital ion cannon.
You act like quarantine has changed any of our lives in any meaningful
I'm sorry, Ding Dong Del.
Yeah. While you were going outside and building social contacts, I studied the art of social isolation.
God damn it.
Didn't Shorb just... It's not, maybe not Shorb, but didn't someone link something in memes and shit posts along that meme?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, it was Shorb.
They probably did. That's where Sneaky got it.
You promised me the president was capping fools. I saw no capping.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
There's a distinct lack of capping.
He capped a fool.
No, he doesn't. Not in the 3 minutes that you linked.
School was canceled due to quarantine, so now I can show up. Oh no. Oh no. The bats.
Oh my god, it did the wrong one. Fuck. Hold on.
What about... What?
So there was a 4chan post about
Yes,
the
I read that shit stain of a post. That
Apologies, I have to link a fucking 18-minute video because it's the only one that shows anything.
I do also love the fact that the 2020 American Samoa quarter has a fucking bat on the back.
Does it?
I don't
Yes.
understand.
Does it?
I didn't.
Yes.
I don't go on 4chan because I have self-respect.
The meme magic is out of control, Max.
Sneaky posted 2 screen caps of a dude It's one of those things where it's like, on the one hand, some of the stuff he predicted did happen. On the other hand, a lot of it was late. And on the other hand, because this is 4chan, if you throw enough darts, you'll hit something.
That's
Sure,
like
he
what
was
most of
one
my
of a number of people making predictions like this.
Also, you have to keep in mind, people on Poll are crazy enough to believe anything, and sometimes anything happens. Welcome to 2020.
Well, the real
Like
problem is that Paul is the ultimate example of faith actually moving and making miracles.
Faith shall move mountains.
And here's the problem. Here's the problem. If you put it them as a shitpost, your faith in the God Emperor made this happen.
Also,
be like,
Max.
yeah, it did.
Max, this was posted on January 31st. So
I'm aware.
yeah,
I read through the posts.
yeah. It's just it is the Thousand Monkeys where eventually one of the conspiracy theories is going to be right. Except the problem is it goes from one of these conspiracy theories is going to be right to, wow, that's a lot of very specific information that was correct, and I am now worrying for my safety.
Well, yeah, but like when I went through and broke it down, I'm like, okay, well, some of these are a couple weeks late. Like the WHO didn't declare global emergency until like a week or two after that, I think. And then it was the comment he made about
The stock
investing in
market.
plastics and biomeds is the best option, ironically enough. I'm like, what do you mean ironically? If you know that this is going to be a problem, that sounds like the safest bet because plastics are going to be moving around hospitals and medical
Yep.
workers. And biomed companies are going to be developing the things we need to fight this stuff. What do you mean ironically?
Yeah, there's nothing ironic about that. That would be like saying, well, ironically, the U.S. had to go to war with Russia because of expansionists. Ironically, the best thing to do was buy stock in Heckler and Koch.
I think the ironic part is from the fact that a lot of plastics are now made in China. And so he's like, stock market's going to crash because everything's made in China and China is going to close. But ironically enough, investing in plastics is your best bet for an increase in revenue due to the fact that it's going to become so necessary they won't close it.
Okay, that's a solid possibility.
I get it.
I mean, it's still 4chan. You still have to, have that heavy doubt button like ready to go.
And, I mean, of course, I never believe 4chan posts until it all happens, and it's like, okay, well, that was neat that someone called it out several months beforehand, but, if believing a 4chan post...
Well, and the other big problem that I have when things like this happen is people like Kojima predicted this, Tom Clancy predicted this, like, well, unfortunately, those are also people that have a tendency to study history and notice patterns.
Well, not only that, they are extremely high IQ, very eccentric individuals.
What gets scary is when they decide to plug and play names in their history lessons. It's like, okay, now this is scary. Please stop.
Tom Clancy, how did you get a hold of this confidential information? Wait, what?
What are you talking about?
What do you mean confidential?
What do you mean confidential? I just made it up for my book.
Shit. Like, can you imagine? I'm sorry. All I can imagine is the CIA task force because, right? They did reveal that he got a ton of stuff super disturbingly right, and they're like, okay, obviously somebody is leaking or giving him information that he shouldn't have.
Yeah.
And then they get to him, and it's like, who is your source? My source?
I mean, here's the thing. That has actually happened a lot in history. Because if you look at the history of D-Day, you will notice that something actually interesting, or slightly strange if you want to look at it. Basically, a primary school principal had been doing crosswords, and for 3 months before, or 6 months, he started putting names of the beaches like Omaha, Nimrod, stuff like that. Not Nimrod was a different operation.
But
he was just
Nimrod.
Sorry.
Oh yes,
He had
I
been
too
putting, like,
remember
Sword,
Nimrod Beach.
Sword, Juno. Of course, the famous beaches: Sword, Juno, Gold,
No, I was
Omaha, Point de Hawk,
Nimrod.
I've been listening to a podcast on World War One. And I was just hearing about Operation.
Ah,
Nimrod.
okay.
Yeah, sorry, that just came up. Yeah, but like they started listing out the beaches, and then they went to him, and he's just like, "Oh, I had no idea. That was all a coincidence." They of course still locked him away because he had knowledge of D-Day, but they didn't like
Yeah.
press charges after. It's like D-Day was over. Okay, you can go home now. Sorry about that. Because here's the thing:
Yeah.
the British don't fuck about. Like when it came to secrecy and shit, they were just like, "No."
When there's a chance that their troops could be in danger by this, most governments surprisingly do not fuck around.
This
Well,
is
no,
true.
see, that's when the right thing to do is for the government to quietly put the word out that this guy has guessed the entire operational plan, and they have to scrap it now.
They couldn't scrap it. It was too close.
Knows, and then you just keep going.
Oh yeah.
I see.
Again, if you guys ever want to be
Look,
entertained, I know I've said it
Look,
before.
throughout history, there has been incredibly entertaining things. Just there's so much shit out there, like the whole Turing machine only working because one single German officer ended every communication he did with a very specific phrase every single time, and so whenever the code changed, that phrase they knew, and so they can then use that phrase to decode the rest of the message. Like, because of one guy being over enthusiastically patriotic.
Is that seriously how that got?
Yes!
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No, there was one German officer who, well, also bear in mind they
Oh.
also did capture. They did capturing a functional Enigma machine
Right.
was an enormous help.
Yes, of course, but they would have
That's
never been able to
still-
figure out the code from the
Yeah.
machine.
That's still pretty
Without
fucking
one
like,
guy always going "Long live the fatherland" or something.
imagine being that guy and just like you're not living this down until the day you die.
No, I
is
still,
being admitted
I
to
still
that role.
personally think the
Good-
story
good job,
of the
dumbass. Fucked over the fatherland.
no, even better is the story of the
1 second.
Spanish farmer who really hated Germans, and so he was originally going to work for Britain to spy on the Germans because the Germans had occupied his area or some shit. Maybe he was French or some shit. I don't fucking know.
Either way, he was done with their shit.
Point is he hated Germans, and he went to Britain, and he was like, "Hey, Britain, I can spy on the Germans for you. They'll never expect me." And Britain said, "Fuck off, peasant." And so then he went to the Germans and said, "Hey, I'm actually like an experienced British spy, and I would like to turn on the British, and I have contacts across the board, and I will be able to spy for you." And
So let me guess, they told him to fuck off, peasant.
no, they said, "Hey, that sounds great. Thanks. Here you go. Here's your spy code. Here's your spy uniform. Here's your stipend. Good luck." Because the problem is that almost all the spies were being caught at this point in time in Britain. And so they were like, "Okay, this guy claims that he has all this shit set up. Fuck it. It's only like we're only gonna lose like $1,000 on him if he's wrong."
And he's not part of our apparatus.
And so
haven't
he just-
trained him.
He just fucking made up, never even left to Britain, just made up a whole bunch of shit. He was like, "Oh man, you can bribe British people with tea bags," and whole bunch of just ridiculous shit. And the Germans, as they're losing all their other spies but this guy, they're like, "Fucking this guy is doing something right."
We don't know what.
And so
something.
it escalates to the point where the British are now being concerned about like this one spy they can't catch no matter what. And then they go, "Hold on a second. What's his name again? Don't we have communications from him like several months ago about spying on the Germans for us?" And so they contact him again. They're like, "Look, we'll pay you to keep fake spying on us. In fact, have 30 people to invent more identities and fake contacts for you.
Like,
And
again,
so the war ends with him never being revealed to the Germans as a fake spy, and he is honored by the German government with the Iron Cross, and then by the British government with the Medal of Valor.
Was that Operation Double Cross,
Okay.
or was that not Double Cross? I'm trying to remember if that's...
listen, if you ever
That definitely... What was the guy's name?
I don't fuck. It was some French or Spanish thing, man. I don't fucking remember those names.
if you ever want to be entertained, like just go read about the insane stuff that all of the governments,
Spanish guy.
Right.
Yeah.
all the governments got up to in World War II. There's the German guy, there was the German officer who had a perfect plan to tank the British economy by taking all of the Jewish like printers, and he brought them into one concentration camp, and he's like, we are going to forge the perfect pound. And then
How
he
will that
found
work
out, no, it was going great, and he was almost ready to go. They had something like, I think it was like 10 million fake pounds that were it was later found out they were completely indistinguishable from the real thing. They had mocked this thing up perfectly, and they would have just dropped like 10 million fake pounds and destroyed the British economy in one swoop.
Ooh.
But this guy they told him he was going to be sent to the Russian front when he was done.
Oh, and
And
so
it's
he
like-
just was like,
You were just
oh,
like, why would I have...
no, there's been a delay. The trucks are
No, everything. He kept, it's not good enough, it's not good enough, it's not good enough. And then when they came in and inspected it, they were like, what are you talking about? This is perfect. We're rolling it out. Trucks broke down. They couldn't print it. And so then they shot him for sabotaging the war effort.
oh, well.
And the project just got abandoned. And
He
so
was
then
probably
they,
just like, worth it, I didn't go to Russia.
but so then they find, the war ends, and the British find this, and they were like, what the fuck?
And there's other shit like
Oh,
as
shit,
Super
they were
Potato
almost-
said, they Allies also did hire like a team of fiction writers or a single fiction writer to just like write fictional military reports about troop movements, accidents occurring during training, like a whole shitload
One
of
of
stuff.
those was the guy who wrote James Bond.
Yeah, just a whole shitload of just like fake stuff to make it look like the Allies were going to invade a certain spot, and then
Yeah,
we
no, it
also
was
set up
like-
like balloons that were going to go to another spot, and then we also invaded Africa, making them think that's what the big invasion was, and then we were like, surprise! Actually, it's Normandy, France.
Well,
That's, yeah, that was
and
a
remember,
thing.
it's like they won't invade Normandy. It would be insane to invade Normandy.
Well,
And they were like,
actually,
what if we invaded Normandy? And everybody was like, that's insane. That's where they've done all the work.
Yeah,
I mean, he was the thing. Here was the thing. Paul de Calais was the most fortified spot. Normandy was the least fortified on that whole coast, like comparatively, because
Yes.
Rommel had done so much work to fortify that coast because he knew that it was going to be there.
Well, yes,
You, like,
but
fuck.
yeah. Here's the thing. Yes, they went for the comparatively weak spot, but that's like going, oh, hey, I noticed the dragon's limping on its left side. Stay on the left side. It is still a dragon.
Yes. Or the story of the guy that survived the Titanic sinking, that survived going to Dunkirk, and also survived his ship being sunk in World War One. And same guy, terrible luck with boats.
That
Arguably
guy's got
fantastic.
some baller
luck.
stories for the grandkids, though.
Like you know how he survived the Titanic sinking? He was in the boiler room, and the Titanic started flooding in the boiler room with the boiler
Where's
still on.
Where's that fucking game where he's the protagonist?
And
That'd be fucking great.
his clothing got caught on a grate, and this ended up saving him because the boiler exploded, sending him rocketing out of the ship attached to this grate. And because of the grate, it slowed him down enough to not kill him with the G-forces.
What the fuck?
So he goes from drowning to being a one-man torpedo to being alive.
Okay, but listen, my personal favorite for historical fuckery is still and will always remain the Battle of Alesia, which was where. Do you know this one, Sneaky?
No, I don't think I do, actually.
So, it involves everybody's favorite general, Caesar.
Okay.
Oh,
he-
is this Walls 2 Electric Boogaloo?
Yes.
Oh,
So he
yes.
chased a bunch of Gauls into a city,
Yeah.
and he's like, none of the Gauls are getting out. Build a wall. Well, a couple of messengers got out. Sir, the Gauls are coming with reinforcements. They'll crush us. We should abandon the position. Build another fucking wall.
Build
What?
the walls.
Well, no,
I remember
Max,
this
it gets
now.
so much better because so he built a wall around the town facing in.
Yeah.
So he's like, you can't get out because I built a wall. And then it's like, oh god, they're coming from behind us. All right, build a wall the other way. What?
The
Yeah, I remember
power of
this now.
walls.
Golden
Just
Wind
like,
theme plays.
You know, I, sir, with all due respect, are you retarded?
Well, and then to top it all off, he sent his cavalry out and he told them, okay, you guys, because these were like some absurdly loyal guys, and he's like, you're gonna desert. We would never desert. Guys, you're gonna pretend to desert, and you're gonna sit in the woods, and you're gonna pretend that you're just sitting there waiting for the battle to end. And then, when these guys show up, you're gonna join them, and then you're gonna turn on them, and you're gonna make them panic. And it worked.
Fucking, there was so much just general fuckery, and real life will forever be stranger than fiction. Some of the
Yeah.
stuff I've seen personally, like, not even like, ooh, spooky booky shit, like, just people being people. Some of the
Yeah.
shit that I have seen, if I told you about it, you would be like, well, I'm pretty sure half of that's made up. It's like, nope. All of it fucking happened, and no one will ever believe you.
Yeah, it's one of those things where one of the reasons I don't like when I have those instances is like I can't say people don't act like this anymore because I've seen an example of it.
Yeah.
Great.
But, yeah. So.
I mean, honestly, if you're ever looking to be entertained, just reading about famous military victories or how they occur, like World War II is just the best documented, so we know the most about the fuckery that occurred.
Well, I mean, not only that, if you really want to be entertained and you want to get some ideas for original fiction when it comes to, like, hero moments or how eccentric can my characters really be, the one guy that got, like, the Medal of Valor for taking 3 bunkers or something with a fucking grenade and a flag or some shit, and, like, there is some wild fucking stories from the Medal of Valor people who just did completely outlandish things that you would never expect or see coming.
There was the guy who got the Medal of Valor posthumously because.
Well, most medals of valor are
Okay,
rewarded.
yes, but this particular one was the Sneaky. Remember the guy? It was on one of the islands. He's wounded. He's slowing his guys down. He's like, he's like, you can't afford this. Leave me behind. We're not gonna leave you behind. Shut up. Leave me behind. That's an order. You give me your service pistol.
Oh, fuck! I was trying to remember something else that happened.
Cool story.
And
bro.
they just They came back a couple days later, and they just found they found 9 dead Japanese soldiers in an arc around this tree.
And he was just dead with the pistol empty.
Yeah.
There was also the moment
And
of
I would
the
say, more
Germans fucked
importantly,
over.
my favorite part about this is the Japanese were like, "We're not touching it. Look,
We don't know
this
if
guy,
he's dead.
No. They later turned out the commander. Supposedly, the commander heard about it, and he was like, "Okay, look, the Americans don't have any honor, but you leave that corpse alone."
Normally I would argue that point, but the Pacific War, you know what? I'll give him that. The Pacific War, I'll definitely give him that.
That's the moment where that one soldier has like a sad theme in an anime or something like that.
We did some shit in the Pacific War that
no one is proud of.
No one's really proud of.
Honestly, this is going to sound completely crazy. I think one of the best games that did a great job of portraying just how shit Americans were in the Pacific War, L.A. Noire.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Like, that was not good. Like the scene where Cole Phelps accidentally orders them to torch a hospital. That probably happened.
Oh no!
Probably
oh wait, we did so much worse than.
Yeah,
Well,
I was gonna say
the problem is the Pacific War started off on a very bad note in that it got a lot of very patriotic people very angry, and pretty much every
Sneaky,
battle that we had.
You got to remember, the Pacific War started out on a sour note before Pearl Harbor happened, because for the Japanese, we said, "Fuck you, you don't get oil."
Yes, we did.
And I'm not saying that was wrong. The Japanese were literally committing horrible atrocities with things like throwing babies in the air and catching them on bayonets.
Yes.
Which is...
They also had...
Let's not forget everyone's favorite thing that never happened, the rape of Nanking.
I was going to say Division 613 or whatever it's called.
Oh god, that thing too.
That was the thing that happened.
Let's be clear. America was absolutely right to cut off their oil. But that's part of the reason that they were so angry at Pearl Harbor, because we were crippling them.
Yeah. But no, what I mean is that we escalated the war crimes in the Pacific theater, significantly so by the time we started dropping fucking nukes on them, because with each island we tried to take, we were losing a disproportionate amount of soldiers. Morale was horrendously low. It literally got to the point where we stopped even trying to take islands and just started having basically drive-by battleshipping of them, where we just started flattening entire sections.
Island hopping. Okay, hold on a minute. You see these 20 islands? We don't need them. They're not big enough to land a plane on, and there's no decent anchorage. So we'll sail by them. Just everybody fire like 70 or 80 shots while we sail by.
Yeah, and we just escalated from there, and we torched a lot of things that we shouldn't have torched. We killed a lot of people that we.
Well, and let's be clear. Part of the reason things like that started happening, completely inexcusable. But the reason that things like prisoners getting shot started to happen is because Japanese soldiers would surrender with grenades in their pocket.
And the civilians were even resisting, and it just became fucking a shit fest. I keep forgetting the nukes were war crimes, but not really. I mean, yeah, because...
The nukes, ironically, are the least bad thing. I would just say it depends on how you look at it.
It
The nukes
is.
were the least immediately bad
It
thing.
was. I guess you could say. I guess you could. You could theoretically make the argument for it being the objectively least worst thing we could have done to Japan, because not only did it stop the war months to years ahead of time with Japan, saving massive casualties on both sides, because the Japanese were straight up just ready to be like, all right, civilians, everyone, fight to the death. We're going to resist the Americans all the way. And that would have just fucking annihilated their country.
Well, I was gonna say, and to be fair to the American strategists who said this, they had sent some, because at this point we were mostly back to trusting the Japanese Americans. They'd sent some of them in, right, and they had seen the posters that was like, the Americans will kill your women, rape your children, and take them as slaves.
Yeah.
And look, now to be fair, part of this was the Americans shooting themselves in the foot by having concentration camps for the Japanese, which,
yeah, look
oh
how they're
boy,
treating,
the Japanese propaganda went hog wild with.
Yeah.
But
I mean, also then because then our response to Tokyo was to burn it down again. We really like burning down Tokyo.
that was, oh god, like,
We've done that like 3 times.
I mean, yeah, but the problem with that one was they didn't. It wasn't that they went firebomb them,
It was
because it's an incredibly demoralizing tactic, but in a modern city it does almost no damage. Well, relatively little damage anyway.
we just kept
It was
bombing it.
firebomb them because they are not a modern city,
We just kept
and they don't
bombing
have
it.
things like concrete and brick.
Oh god, the fucking casualty list. The firebombing of Tokyo killed more people than the nukes.
And is unquestionably a far, far worse thing.
And then that's that's why you can make the argument of the nukes were objectively one of the best options. Because literally every other option was long slog, shit tons of people die, we burn all their cities to the ground, shit tons of people die.
Well, and because, ironically enough, Japan's underdeveloped state actually worked in its favor because they still had large amounts of crops. It wasn't like, right, if someone wanted to subdue Japan today, a naval blockade is a perfectly viable
Yeah.
option, because they will run out of food in a heartbeat.
Yes, very quickly.
Compare it to a place like Russia or China or America. America does ironically enough, America does import a lot of food and exports a lot of food. But a lot of the food we import isn't made from the food that we export, but most of America could be fed by America. Like, it wouldn't be what they're accustomed to eating, but we make lots of grain. We are the world's largest exporter of grains. We can feed America, right? You can't stop that. That's not the case in Japan.
We sold China rice.
You search. I'm sorry, Pedro. What?
The fuck?
Just a reminder, we have recently sold China rice.
I mean, yes.
Oh, yes. CA's talking about a clip where Sneaky decided to Google firebombing of Tokyo, and for some reason we got a skincare thing instead.
Oh yes,
yes.
the American
Yes.
skincare.
That was beautiful timing, Google. Beautiful.
That was
Still don't know.
horrendous.
Still don't know how Google managed that.
Magic, and also the algorithm had a brain fart.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm getting so sick and fucking tired. Like, we're at the point now where there are too many stupid people using Google because it's
Yeah.
fucking up my internet results. And it's like, I need a tech solution.
Hedgehog cute.
Google. It's like Windows
Hedgehog
is
who?
giving me this error. How do I fix it? No, I don't want the Microsoft support page saying turn it off and on again. I want the Microsoft support page made by a customer asking for a fix that is then gone into great detail by a nerd.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on a minute.
Okay.
So-
okay. We've been derailed.
Yes, I'm sorry, but
Cease.
I went to type in if Google was a guy because you guys reminded me that's a very funny thing, and I'm gonna watch it later.
Yes. Yeah,
I
they
have
made like 9.
If G, the second one, if Google was a guy, and then if Goku and Vegeta were black is the second result.
Mm.
Well, Bulma wouldn't be a character in the cast anymore.
Hi, everybody.
Trunks wouldn't be coming to save him either.
Well, I mean, Vegeta is around as much
No,
as...
to be fair, Vegeta's a pretty absentee father.
This is true.
Anyway, so, yeah, he jumps in front of a truck, and he's like, wow, why'd I do that? I'm dumb. And my response is, yeah, you're fucking dumb. And, so he's dead, and he's like, oh, wow, dark shit is around me. I guess I'm gonna be judged or some shit, or maybe I'm being born now. And, yep, I'm being born now. And so he started screaming after he went through the horror of childbirth through the eyes of a baby.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why most light novel
But
writers ignore this part and just, skip.
yeah, except for the part where like babies can't see until like 2 weeks in or some shit. So I'm not really sure what you're seeing that is triggering the horrors of childbirth.
Nobody knows.
I mean, yeah, you get some weird fucking sensations of being like squished a bunch and then shoved through a tube that's too small for you, but that's also called playing on the slide with 10 people.
I mean, look, some people might not experience the joy of being born. Some of them are created by dark science. Like Sneaky here, who was born of the Omnissiah.
Yeah. Sure. Hurry, bring the blah 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 blah. I was a baby with an adult mind. That's not how that works.
It's not, but most writers make it that way because reasons.
Yeah, I know, but it's still it's really silly and stupid. And it's actually a problem I have. It's actually a problem we have with Tanya, but it hasn't really come to head yet with Tanya because Tanya is still a kid. But it's like completely opposite sex body. It's lots of fucking hormones. Like Tanya hasn't hit puberty yet, but lots of fucking hormones. And the body is exceedingly good at making sure that you want to reproduce, because that is sort of your end goal as a creature that is alive and breathing.
That's sexist.
I did not mention a sex during that.
Yeah, but what if there's some people around that are not wanting to have children? What you just said is sexist.
I think you need to start drinking.
I'm only saying what I'm sure some dumbass has posted on Twitter, okay?
Listen, you can't. No, you can't
Guys,
justify a
guys,
statement with
I'm only-
someone posted on Twitter because, of course, someone's
I'm only
posted it on
acting
Twitter.
retarded, guys. It's a joke, get it? I'm only
No,
acting
Sneaky,
retarded.
I'm only acting racist.
I'm only acting racist. It's not my actual opinions. But I did hear a statistic recently that blew my mind.
Go ahead. Let's hear this one.
Sneaky, if you're about to say what I think you're about to say, shut up, please.
Fine.
Thank
Anyway.
you.
So, I was reborn, blah 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 blah, blah 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 blah. I'm an adult inside a baby. I would rephrase that, author. I would really rephrase that one, author.
Yes, that does need a bit of rephrasing.
My new father caught my glare and laughed. It seems God has blessed me with an intelligent heir. Yes. Okay, so it's not Oh. What the fuck? Okay, so this is straight up a isekai into him as Lucius Tiberius during the reign of Lucius Tiberius.
That's like naming your child Trump and like expecting.
No, like that time period. This isn't like a I don't even know how this would go. This isn't like a self-insert isekai as a servant Lucius Tiberius and like a fate grand order sort of thing. Because that's where I thought he was originally going with it. There was going to be some gay-ass fate grand order shit where it's like he spawns in as Lucius Tiberius or some dumbass shit. But no, he's trying to write an original story using the fate header. Which
Of course he is.
is a very bold move for a first-time writer who couldn't even get the proper tensing correct in his own summary.
Outstanding move. Well done, sir.
Yeah.
You truly surprised everyone.
The doctor says you are healthy despite how quiet you are and your gaze hold intelligent, unrefined. Yes, I will mold you into perfect emperor so that someday you will make Rome greatest empire the world has ever seen. Holy shit! That's a 3-line sentence! There's not even a comma!
That is a lot of words.
Well, my new father was celebrating. I was freaking out. Wait, what? I was reborn into past. Fuck you, Rob. We all know author's note. Sorry, author's note. We all know what that means, but for knobs, I can means random omnipotent being. I was from 21st century with modern appliances that I can't fucking survive without. Losing my sanity. Fuck you, Rob. Apostrophe.
Now, okay, first of all, putting
It's
office
like-
notes in the middle of your story is dumb. Second of all, the random omnipotent being thing needs to die. Third of all, actually a reasonably valid point. God, I don't know what I'd do without modern plumbing.
I mean, the Romans had plumbing.
Sneaky, I said modern plumbing.
Okay.
I
Say
don't
modern
want to get
plumbing.
lead poisoning from my pipes.
Well, that's tough shit. You're getting lead poisoning and you're gonna like it. Wait, hold on a second. You're not gonna get lead poisoning from modern Chicago plumbing?
I live in a
But-
suburb, dude.
Oh,
he lives in the
okay.
suburbs.
We have
He's not,
actual
like-
plumbing.
He's not in the hellscape of.
I was gonna say, hold up. Chicago has like one of the worst tap waters in the fucking U.S. I mean, obviously we ignore Flint because Flint is like the Venezuela of inflation when it comes to tap water.
Wow. That is definitely a sentence
Dude.
That came from your mouth.
That came from my mouth, indeed.
that occurred.
Holy
Holy fuck.
But yeah, so anyway, come down, Lucius, come down.
Lord, someone clip that. We need to make sure Sneaky never, ever forgets that.
I don't want to forget it either. And
C8,
except
get on it.
you are reborn in the past, there is nothing you can do about it. Accept it. I clam down. Alright, you are a guy that was from 21st century and now reborn in ancient Rome, and you can probably revolutionize the world, get filth rich. Then I started crying out loud, surprising my new father. Fuck you, Rob, and your random omnipotent asshole. Even though my new life was not what I expected, I lived it the best I could. Let me tell my legend. The legend how I became Sword Emperor that surpassed King of Knights. Okay, so
I'm sorry, I've just been not listening to any of this garbage.
so the spag on this is fucking cringe to you. Like This is why I joke that all these new writers have never read a book before. Because if you actually ever read a book before, you would make the logical conclusion when writing, I should make it look like the book I read. Right? I don't know how to write, but I read book in front of me. I should copy book. I mean, you're already... Most fanfiction writers, maybe not this guy specifically, but most fanfiction writers for the Harry Potter and the Naruto and the Fate Stay Nights and all those fucking series and genres of Fate Zero, they all fucking hug those canon rails so goddamn hard, the train might as well pass over them as if they were a rail itself. But, you know, they for some reason can't do the exact same thing to the words being used. They can hog the plot, but they can't comprehend that maybe, just maybe, you have to put a comma some places, and, you know,
Commas don't exist.
You have to put periods down, and people don't talk in paragraphs. Like,
Can you stop lying?
You're literally copying from the book almost. And for some reason, you somehow managed to copy it, but worse. And that is beyond me. I cannot comprehend how people manage this. Like, I understand your plot's gonna be wonk. I understand that you're gonna have a tough time properly describing and characterizing the characters of your story. I get that. I understand you might have issues with your dialogue and making it sound natural and, you know, not Dragon Age 2.
I could argue that, but I don't feel like doing it.
All I heard was Dragon. The only reason I came back because I heard Dragon Age 2, and I came back just long enough to say, "Fuck Dragon Age 2, it's garbage."
Yeah, I said dialogue like Dragon Age 2.
He said the Dragon Age dialogue is garbage.
Yes. You know, it's just like, but the words themselves, the sentences themselves, you would hope when someone reads a book, they notice those things. You would hope, of course. I use hope as the key word there, because you can't expect
Why
it.
would you hope?
You can only hope and pray. You can only give insubstantial well wishes when it comes to someone actually writing correctly, because somehow, despite, I don't even know a statistic I could use for this, but goddamn, they all fucking suck at writing. Holy shit. Anyway, so that's this story, because that was the first chapter. I ran in front of a car, and now I got born. That is so fucking riveting, I almost want to die.
Excellent job, C8. Nice, clean clip.
It only took us a whole hour to get through that absolute garbage, because for almost an hour of the hour and 10 minutes we spent reading this fic, we didn't read the fic because of how utterly boring it was. How utterly uninteresting it was. How it did not hold our attention at all at any point in time ever. But you know what will probably hold our attention? A Fate Stay Night D times D fic. A popular Bernie supporter has just tweeted out. Has just tweeted out that Bernie supporters need to go shoot the police because they are enforcers of a system that denies people free healthcare.
What? And that's how you get arrested, kids.
He's got 12,000 followers. So it's not
Wait,
just like a
Does say
nothing
this on
account.
stream.
Yeah. He said that.
So he said, repeat it again so everyone can hear
The
it.
the Bernie Sanders supporter who is angry about Bernie Sanders not being elected said that other Bernie Sanders supporters should do the right thing and shoot the police because they are preventing access to free healthcare. Because don't you know, when you make something free, that means you have an unlimited amount of it to give away. Anyway, so this is Fate Stay Night D times D. Fate Stay Night, the Dragon of Dragons.
Are we supposed
Wow.
to care?
They literally made their story title Fate Stay Night, Dragon of Dragons.
Oh boy.
That
Oh boy, here we go.
they didn't even try like anything original. That's just they literally just took the titles of both the series and just they didn't even like mash them together. They were just like,
What if I had absolutely no originality?
it's like if you did a Harry Potter Harry Dresden crossover and the title of your story was called Harry Potter Harry Dresden. It's just like,
Well, at least when you look at the story, you won't ever have to look at it again because you'll know exactly what the premise is.
Dragon of Dragons. I think I've read this one before. You might have, Isley, but that's what D times D means. It means Dragon of Dragons, apparently. That's what X means in Japanese. It means of. So when you see an X between stuff, it means of. And the D's supposedly stand for dragons and not dicks. So it's Dragon of Dragons. And because of that, a massive amount of fan fiction call their stories or have some form of title with the word Dragon of Dragons in it. So it's very easy to think you've read a story before because it has the word Dragon of Dragons in the title.
Nice.
Yeah, they literally could have just put like that's an actual original title tension. Fate space Dragon/Dragon. That would have kept both of those title styles, but would have looked original as hell. And Pedro has just realized Hunter times Hunter means Hunter of Hunter. Yes. Congratulations, Pedro. The series has only been going on for over a decade now. Nope, it's not Dragon vs. Dragon, it's Dragon of Dragons, meaning there is going to be one dragon over all dragons. Yep, I'm apparently blowing fucking minds tonight. Not with the stories, not with my advice, but what the X symbol means.
Yep, sounds about right. How's that make you feel, Sneaky?
I don't know.
I can't believe that's what's blowing people's minds.
I don't know.
People have known that you can use an X in porn for that for years.
What, the blowing people's minds part?
No. I mean, probably, but
Anyway, so this story summary: in one world, Isai Hayudo died and came back as a servant of Rias Grimori. In another, he found himself involved in a figurative holy war. A grail that can grant omnipotent wishes. Fastest way to becoming the harem king. If he can survive the other masters first.
I
At least
am
he has a smoking hot
enormously upset.
servant with him.
No, I mean, to be fair,
Issei
basically-
Hayudo times Attila the Hun.
By the way, that may be the dumbest rewrite they've done so far.
Yes. Massively retarded. Colossally.
Guys, what if we made it? What if we made Attila the Hun a woman?
That would have changed literally all of history.
Hey, and what if we put her in a bikini for armor?
Weird flex, but okay.
Hey, what if we made sure that this didn't change history in the slightest, but Attila the Hun's responsible, like,
He raped
nearly
a lot
50% of the human population?
Raped a lot of people.
Don't worry, Merlin has the fix for that.
We agreed not to talk about that.
Wait, has Merlin
I
just
thought
been
we agreed
reduced
to
to the Warhammer advisor? He just shows up to everyone important?
I just want to
Oh my
point
God.
out he has an infinite lifespan. It's not unreasonable to assume he time traveled for shits and giggles.
Okay,
No need to
Sneaky.
worry, Attila. I am here to grant you a penis. Oh well, you're just raping all of them. Oh.
Wow, that's you're definitely not Artoria, that's for sure.
I think this is karma for Artoria.
Sneaky, I want to write like as a shitpost. Let's write a Warhammer campaign,
Nah.
but with Merlin as the advisor.
No.
Sneaky, better yet,
Immediately lost me
Better-
on that.
Sneaky, we'll replace Medivh with Merlin.
I don't
Fate
see how this
Merlin.
could go wrong in any way, shape, or form.
I'm certain. it
As
could
a
go
matter
wrong.
of fact, he might fuck up less than Medivh.
I don't. That's not really a bar. That's kind of the floor.
I mean, that's a fair point. You see that? That's dark magic, children. Don't ever touch it. Medivh, you are literally standing in it. You are showering in it. Don't touch it. It's evil. Medivh, you're eating a bar that says made from dead babies.
You act like that would stop me.
You know what will solve the issues? Orcs! Oh no, the orcs are killing everyone! Well, I suppose technically that solves the issues.
Good job, Gork and Mork. You did it.
He's probably the same person who makes the mind control apps in Dojins. I'm not gonna touch that with a 50-foot pole.
Yeah,
You know,
don't.
But enough
Guess
about
what
my
we are
penis.
touching today, kids? That.
Legends, myths, story. Throughout the long years of history, many tales of great heroes and their epics and tragedies and adventures have been weaved. Some were remembered from the lips of poets and bards, others were remembered on the pages of books and novels and short stories. You're ruining the pacing here, mate.
Just a bit.
The rest became forever remembered in the annals of history. Okay, well, that
Don't make a lot of sense there, my dude.
some stories were remembered because bards sang about them, and some stories were remembered because people wrote about them, and the rest of the stories were remembered forever. Wait, hold on a second.
I'm sorry, what?
Hold the yawn fuck up.
Also, by the way, people talk about Gilsder Eyes. I want to point out, literally, if it weren't for Fate, no one would know who he is.
Who?
Bluebeard.
Oh, yes, Bluebeard, yes. I knew who Bluebeard was before Fate. But I knew him by Bluebeard and not his actual name.
Yeah, I was gonna say, almost no one would know about him.
Yeah, the problem is like, oh no, I've heard of Bluebeard. I didn't realize that was a real person, is what it was for a lot of people.
Oh no, I knew Blackbeard and Bluebeard were real people.
But Blackbeard isn't Bluebeard.
I know.
That's another point.
That's why I said and.
Blackbeard is
Yes, I
very
know.
different.
Yes.
Very different.
Blackbeard did not murder children.
That we know of.
Okay, yes. At this time, we have no reason to believe Blackbeard murdered children. Big Bird, on the other hand.
And then there's the third pirate. Big Bird.
I knew Big Bird was part of the Mafia this whole time.
So quick update. I decided to boot up Metal Gear Rising Revenge and was like, oh, this will be a good way to kill time. Oh, let's set the game to very hard. That's
Why
weird. I
did
don't
you
remember
do
having
that?
this move. My entire health bar depleted in 4 hits. This game does not fuck around very hard.
Why do you think you would fuck around on very hard?
Nanite, son.
That is the game that fucking had Senator Fuck Your Health Bar Armstrong, my dude.
I remember.
Well,
Boy,
we
they
only
made it
know of
harder than I
Merlin
remembered.
knowing Dick
That's a
Magic.
nice
It's
health
entirely
bar you have
possible
there,
for other
sir.
people to know it too. I mean, yes, it is Pedro impossible for other people to know Dick Magic. But, I mean, if for there to be Dick Magic, that would imply the opposite also exists.
Oh, come
I mean,
on.
Given that wizards are basically neat, are you really surprised
you
by the
can't
fact
tell
that
me
Dick
that
Magic
Merlin
exists?
didn't invent both.
Which, okay, as much hate as Parcassius rightly gets, the Fate and Time story he's running, where he turns one of the knights who looks feminine into a girl because he got really fucking drunk one night, and that's just been a continuous subplot since. I find it actually greatly amusing.
I do want to say just a really funny side note. Sneaky, what if he did? I wonder which one came first.
Bless
Which
you.
magic came first? The one to give you a dick or the one to take it away? The question is, what was Merlin up to?
Well, it's clearly the anti-dick magic was clearly the first one invented. Because Merlin is an incubus. Now, my headcanon is that at some point in time, he fucked with the wrong person and tried to de-dick, I don't know, someone who was fancied by a powerful witch. And the witch goes, "Skedaddle, skedoodle! Your dick is not a noodle. It's gone."
Your dick is not a noodle.
And now Merlin,
Sneaky, you have used the wrong incantation. It's whoosh, you have small peener.
no, Merlin now no longer has his noodle. And so he has to invent new magic to make new noodle.
He must obtain a
So
new
therefore he goes to Italy.
What does Italy have to do with this?
This is a weird fucking...
What are you
Fan fiction.
constructing here?
This is a weird
It's a
fucking-
very elaborate headcanon. It also explains why Merlin smells like garlic. The DxD main character would be really happy if he were a per dose protag. What? Someone explain?
Beats the shit out of me, my dude.
For every hero, there is a villain. I mean, not really.
Also, I want to point out this person's very, very, very wrong. For the story of Arthur Pendragon, the King of Camelot, there was Mordred Le Fay.
LaFleur. She got that name because of her eccentricities with the torture rack.
The traitorous knight. Morgan Le Fay was never a knight. Ever.
Morgan Le Fay? Well, we're just like going down on coherence.
Oh, I'm sorry. They have Mordred Le Fay. First of all,
Mordred.
Wait, no, Mordred was a knight.
Mordred
I
wasn't
was
Le
wrong. I
Fay
misread
though.
it. They have Mordred. Mordred was a knight, but Mordred was not Le Fay's kid.
Well,
Also,
Yeah, no,
it's
that
still
was
not.
something new.
Also, it's still not Le Fay.
Yes. For the story of Perseus, the hero of the Greek epic, there was Medusa, the terrifying Gorgon, but Medusa wasn't.
Medusa was a Gorgon.
No, she
But
she
Medusa wasn't a villain.
Yeah, she wasn't a villain.
Well, I mean, she was basically just like a MacGuffin, given how easy the fight was. So
No, but Medusa's story is Medusa is what
Medusa's a victim.
makes the story of Perseus a Greek tragedy and not a Greek epic.
Yeah, but the point we're trying to make here, though, Nosehair, is that the author has started this explanation with every hero exists a villain, and then he lists Perseus and Medusa, except Medusa isn't a villain, and Perseus, if you actually know his story, is not a fucking hero.
Perseus is an asshole.
Yeah.
like, you remember when he tried to, kidnap Helen, like everyone else?
Do you remember when Perseus started a fucking?
Well, no, he just kidnapped her when she was 12.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
correct marrying.
I'll be honest,
excuse me, Nose.
that one.
You mean correct marrying age?
Good night, everybody.
The problem is he isn't wrong.
I know he's not wrong. That's what makes me angry.
How does your phone correct? Okay, so the DxD main character would be very happy if he was a Persona protag. I guess. Any Persona fans here?
I'm sorry. What's up? What's the question about Persona?
So Underplayed Creations says that Issei.
Yo, Jesus! Why is it very hard to do this?
Says that Issei would be very happy if he was a Persona protagonist.
Here's the problem: the Persona protagonist generally has lots of friends and lots of females interested in him because the Persona protagonist is a good, kind, caring person who, even if they're not necessarily good in the context of the story, a la Persona 5, they are still a good person to their friends who shows interest in them and cares about them and spends time with them.
The protagonist of DxD is not a good person.
He's just a fucking horn dog, which is why no one likes him. Because if you run around all the time going, women are so hot, turns out not a lot of women are going to like you.
Well, no, the justification in D times D as to why so many women like him in that story is that this is a very common Asian, not just Japanese. It's a very common Asian trope of women are attracted to power, which, I mean, yes, they are, but it's usually the justification of, oh, Issei's just so strong, all the women want his dick. It doesn't matter, if they should hate him or not. It doesn't matter how scummy his personality is. It doesn't matter that he's already married. It doesn't matter that he's got like 8 other women. No, they all want his fucking dick, and they all tolerate all of his antics, even if, they normally would never do that. Just because that he is strong. And while I say that's a...
Okay, Isley. That is a very, very, very small subset of females.
It's a disparaging stereotype.
Those fall under the category of gold digging almost universally.
Or thought. Yeah.
Like,
yes, it's a disparaging stereotype. I'm not going to say how true or how untrue it is, though. It really depends on the culture, depends on the region.
I would say one of the things I actually really appreciated was in the Wheel of Time, the protagonist ends up with 3 girls that care about him.
Mm-hmm.
And he spends the entire book, first of all, refreshingly enough, he spends the entire book going, what is wrong with me? Why I can't go to 3 girls and go, I love you, and I love you. Like he feels like a genuine dirtbag about it. And at the end, the 3 women go, you know what? Yeah, we, the women, will agree to share the guy. Like,
Jeez.
I'm not saying it's realistically written, but it's a
Max,
lot more...
what fucking fight are you on that you're clicking that fast?
You don't understand. It's the first level.
Oh,
And they
you're
throw
fighting.
They throw 2 blade wolves at you in the second fight.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so, anyway. Back to the story.
God, I'm rusty.
I
Hold
assume
up, the
Underplayed
teacher
Creations
in
is
your
referring to
class...
Persona 3.
Wait.
I haven't played Persona 3.
Is that Persona 3 he's talking about?
I assume that's what they're talking about, since they were the
third
one who brought
game,
up
yeah.
Persona.
Wild sexual fantasy about the MC despite him not talking to her and looking at and acting as a school shooter. Women are also stereotyped as being attracted to broken men and bad boys, and this is, again, a disparaging stereotype that I can actually personally confirm as a thing that can happen. My high school life was very weird.
Yes.
But here's the problem. The problem is that's just a subset, right? Like, that's not super common. The biggest problem with...
It's common enough to be a stereotype. However,
No. Come on, Sneaky. You know that's a logical fallacy.
But it is common enough to be a stereotype. What I was saying is that the Japanese like to take any justification they can get to run with it to explain as to why something exists. They like, if you told them, oh, this has a 0.00001% chance of happening, they'd be like, yeah, but it can still happen, so boom, therefore it's in the game. It happens.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like what, like recently there has been a massive spate of light novels obsessed with giving MCs slaves.
I mean, yeah, there's also...
And I'm just like, that's...
Look, the Koreans are just looking at the old days and wistfully sighing.
Now that Sneaky has been a complete...
If we're really going to be talking about fucking unrealistic expectations by the Japanese, we can just look at any of the games involving the President of the United States. Like, for instance, Metal Wolf Chaos.
Here's the problem.
Wait, hold on a second. Are you saying the President doesn't have access to a secret mech inside the White House?
The President most likely won't be competent.
Okay, no, here's the problem. We have a long generation of
little do
incredibly
you know,
competent badasses. Need I bring up Theodore Roosevelt?
Andrew fucking Jackson.
Andrew fucking Jackson.
Excuse me, do you disagree with me? Very well. We're gonna shoot each other and we'll see who lives.
Oh, come on,
I'm
but
not
you can't
disagree.
I would say you can't diss Teddy Roosevelt. I shall now give a speech. Bam!
Fuck you, I'm giving it anyway.
Giving my speech.
No, I was saying, whatever. But yeah, I guess there's true. There's a lot of badass American presidents that do exist.
And then there's John F. Kennedy, who wasn't a badass, but did pretty much single-handedly salvage the nation.
And depending on who you talk to, also ruined the nation.
Honestly, I didn't say he wasn't incompetent. I didn't say he wasn't a twat. He was a badass.
Okay, well, someone has brought up a good point. I'm gonna share this point with you guys under the shitpost section. And I want you guys to consider it and get back to me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but we can solve that problem with sneezes.
Don't worry, we have a plague going around. It'll end quickly.
Aha, humans! We've inoculated ourselves against your common cold. We shall learn from the results of our previous failure. Coronavirus quarantine?
So hey, we have this little thing called a plague going on. Sorry.
What is this plague you speak of?
I have seen the humanity fuck yes every once in a while that portray the rhinovirus as this like ungodly, uncurable horror that just fucking annihilates, like it could annihilate entire planets if it's not quarantined in time. And it's just like, then the humans show up and they're like, oh yes, the common cold. Common cold. And you don't quarantine people for it. No. In fact, we do the opposite,
well, I mean,
basically.
we kind of do.
Everybody gets it. You cough and sneeze and you feel like crap for a week and then you get over it. Get over it?
Excuse? Human? Explain!
We have a 97% mortality rate.
Sounds like a personal problem.
We have this disease that gives us a 90.
Sneaky,
But
sneaky.
I do love the biological humanity fuck yes.
Sneaky brings up the Black Death.
Yeah. I love the biological humanity fuck yes, specifically because it's not like portraying humans as like these like super badasses or something. It's like, no, it turns out that we are retarded, but due to our retardation in how we interact socially, constantly spreading sickness among ourselves, by the time we got to space travel, our collective immune systems were just disproportionately strong. And so when we get out into space, and everyone's like, holy shit, humans, you gotta wear hazmat suits because you are literally walking disease factories that literally everyone else will die if they breathe the air you breathe.
And that's how,
Sneaky,
ladies and gentlemen, we get
sneaky.
the Desert Ranger armor to be in fashion.
A, yes. B, don't forget the single best fact about mankind. We have the most disease-ridden mouth on the planet.
Oh yeah, I know, right. Yeah, being bit by a human isn't actually too bad compared to a lot of other species, except for the part when you
Let's be
survive the
clear.
bite.
Bears, wolves, dog, all these things. Hippos.
That's what I'm saying. It's like all the
these
other
things have
animals.
horrifying jaw strength.
Yeah. Humans, not too strong. Oh, well, what's so bad about them? Oh, you'll die of septic. Excuse me?
If a human bites you and you don't have actual industrial grade antibiotics, it's sneaky. It's like what, a 96, 97%
Oh, you're almost
infection rate?
guaranteed to be. Oh, yeah, it's like. It doesn't matter how clean you keep your mouth. You are practically guaranteed to get a major infection from a human bite.
I forget what it was. Like you get by a dog, and I think it's like, assuming the dog's been like fed properly and is healthy, I think it's like a 50-50 shot at an infection.
No, dogs' mouths are super clean.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. It's like a 25.
The infection actually comes from just it being a massive open wound.
Oh, I see.
And all the massive amounts of bacteria on the human skin, because
There's a lot of that.
there's a lot of bacteria on our skin, because it turns out we actually cultivate it to eat the other bacteria that we don't want on our skin.
Yes, go forth, mighty
Be- Because fucking humans. It's like, oh, what's that? There's bacteria that eats skin and makes it irritable. This bacteria eats that bacteria and doesn't make us irritable. So what if we made just good environments for that bacteria? Like, humans, stop.
I'm going to ask you this one time. Please stop. Why? What'd we do? You caused a galaxy-wide epidemic. So?
It's the reverse breathing suit issue, where it's like Quarians, you stab them, and it's like, oh no, my suit's been pierced, I'm gonna get an infection now. And the humans is like, oh no, my suit's been pierced. And everyone else goes, oh shit, we're gonna get an infection now. Oh god, we carry so many fucking diseases. Holy shit.
Humans are just, oh lord.
I'm still mad about the tally reveal.
Well, don't forget that our digestion is literally getting bacteria to do it for us.
Well, our digestion starts with a saliva that cultivates bacteria that also assists in breaking down the food and softening it, which then it gets dumped into hydrofucking-chloric acid, which, Jesus Christ, and then, undiluted, by the way, undiluted hydrochloric acid, God fucking damn, which, if we're not careful and produce the proper amount of mucus to contain it, will sometimes, occasionally, in a large portion of our aging population, eat their insides.
Oh yeah, that's a thing.
And then it goes to the intestines, where we cultivate a large, wide range of bacteria that feast upon it and produce various chemicals and nutrients that then we suck up. Also, if this bacteria is ever found outside the intestines, that's a big problem because then you die.
How is humanity alive? Oh, we're not.
You should see the other guys.
Also, I do want to say another thing that I do appreciate is when Halo decided that it wanted to make super soldiers. What did it do? It just said, we made the bones tougher, made the muscles denser. That was really it. We didn't change anything. We just upgraded things. Right? We didn't need to give them super speed or super strength. We just had to make sure their muscles could do it without ripping in half. We didn't have to make their bones out of new materials. We just had to make sure they were hard enough not to snap in half from the new muscles.
Yeah.
To be fair, that's mostly because like the armor did a lot of that building strength thing for them.
No,
Okay, no. Outside of the armor, Spartans are still terrifying.
Oh yes,
Spartans
no,
could 1v1 elites without power armor.
What book was that in?
I believe that was...
We don't need it in a book. We've seen normal humans 1v1 elites.
Oh yeah,
Okay, Sergeant Johnson doesn't count.
So Sergeant Johnson is in fact a Spartan.
ODSTs.
Oh yeah.
ODSTs have punch/kicked/stabbed elites to death.
Okay, but to be fair, ODSTs are also fucking insane.
But they're unaugmented humans, that's my point.
Yes.
Yes. ODST.
Hey, excuse me, humans, what is that landing craft you have?
Oh yeah, we just jump out of the sky onto our enemy. I'm sorry,
human.
you what?
It's like, human, I have heard of this concept called a hell drop, a hell diver. What is this? Huh?
You see, we put people in small metal tubes that are not structurally stable, and then we shoot them at high speeds at the ground. Sometimes they even make it.
Why do they agree to do this? Because it's
No.
the best way to...
That's when they get told. That's when you bust out the World War II line. That's an extra $2 a month.
Yeah, it's an extra $2
Because remember why people signed up to be paratroopers for an extra $2 a month?
To be fair, an extra $2
that was a lot of money. Anyway, so the author continues to get history wrong.
Saying, it's by far the best line ever. Why did you agree to be a paratrooper? Well, some guy asked me if I wanted to jump out of a plane for an extra $2 a month, and I said yes.
That's a lot of money.
Man,
so blah blah blah, history warps tales, blah blah blah. You know, my name is Kirshir, the Eldritch Snorg. You can call me Zell.
What if I don't want to?
So yeah, basically, imagine the Borderlands intro where Marcus is talking, except it's Zelrich. That's pretty much what he's trying to go for here with his narrative. He's doing it a little bit poorly because he's like halfway info dumping, but also getting the info wrong, but it's also not interesting information immediately prevalent to the situation. And we don't even know what the situation is, because the situation hasn't been introduced. Blah, 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 literally just a history of Fate's Day. Blah, 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 blah. 5 wars. Okay, so the 5th war has already happened. So this is, Issei is going to be in the 6th war. After so many years, the war begins again. It all starts with one boy destined for greatness. Dot 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 dot. Is that really what you expected me to say? Oh, come on now. You've stuck around this long, and I went to all the trouble of making it so dramatic. Bah. Yofties, like, you see what I mean when I say this is like Marcus Borderlands style narrative?
Except it's garbage.
Except it's garbage.
I could actually see him saying just like, yeah,
but you see what I mean though, right? Like he's trying to do all the earmarks of it.
Well, and also,
but it
one
sucks.
thing that I did appreciate about Borderlands 2 was that Borderlands 2 knew that it couldn't match the intro for Borderlands 1. So it did something different.
Yes.
It was similar, but completely different.
And then Borderlands 3 said, hey guys, want to watch me shoot myself in the face?
But not for a quest?
Yeah, not for a quest. Of course you do. After all, who can forget such colorful young men such as him? Yes, our story began with Red Dragon Emperor, Opie Dragon Emperor, Issei Hyudo. Okay, but it didn't though. Because he's in a Grail War. Unless you're saying that the Grail War still occurs while Sacred Gears are a thing. At which point, how is the Grail War still occurring? It sounds like you would have to be retarded to not get a Sacred Gear user, brainwash them into serving you, teach them a bunch of shit, and then make them go win the Grail War for you. Unless you're saying that all the Grail Wars happened exactly as they did in Fate canon, even though Sacred Gears were a thing, but only now does it matter that it's not Fate canon anymore.
You know what? I'd ask more questions, but I feel like asking questions would make me just want to...
Sneaky, please do not pronounce Opie as Opie. It hurts me. Well, then maybe they should make a easier to pronounce word that clearly says Opie. The A is silent. Wake up, an irritated voice snapped at the sleeping boy, accompanied by the annoying sound of a bell ringing hazardly. It's haphazardly. Not hazardly.
I don't think this person cares.
They don't, but, you know, I do. A little bit, sort of. Anyway, so his alarm clock, blah blah. Blah blah, purple prose, Issei gets out of bed, fucking 3 paragraphs later, Issei's finally out of bed. Blah 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 blah. Grandmother's coming, clean the house. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah.
The noise.
Wait.
Noise.
Well, it's rude to speak about your grandmother like that. She's my mother, after all. What else do you expect me to call a woman who looks old enough to be my own mother? He snapped. There's no way she is as old as she claims to be. Look, literally, even if she had your mother at the age of 10, she would at least be 10 years older than your mother. And she had you at like 22 or something canonically. So at minimum, Something like that. I forget. It was fairly young, all things considered. But so what he says 18. That would make his mom what 40? Yeah, 40, which would make the grandma 50. And some people just hold on to their age better. So, there's no way she's as young as she said she is.
The fuck does that mean?
As long as Issei could remember, he has vivid encounters of the yokai that was his grandmother. She was clearly in her 60s and near 70s, yet the woman didn't look a day over 30. And that was why he was terrified. Because she teased him all the time, like he was a puppy. Worse, she pranked him all the time, like he was a puppy.
This is very weird.
Blah blah, housewife, blah blah. When she coming over, blah blah blah. Blah, lecherous thoughts, harem king, blah blah. You can't come over, okay, grandmother, your hot ass grandmother, grandmother, yeah, I'm gonna be leaving, my grandmother. A few minutes later. If anyone was looking at this person, she would have been mistaken for a humanoid crow, because she looked like a crow. Blah 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 blah, except for the part where she was human. Blah blah Rainere. Blah blah blah. She had a target. Target was Issei. How to approach him. I guess kudos to the author for trying to add characterization to Rainere before, the whole introduction.
That's just kind of a fool's errand.
Opie. Yes, thank you, Pedro, for correcting me. I will now pronounce Opie correctly. The blah blah, he cleaned the house, and then he saw something, and he's like, wow, weird shit. Sanskrit and Greek. And I was taught this by my grandmother, who also spoke Mayan. Monty Python references. That's the lock on. Okay, yeah, sure. So the magical lock was attuned to Monty Python titles.
I mean, if you're like an ancient trickster and you just want to mess with people, making it Monty Python titles is actually a pretty good way to do that.
Okay, so basically my point is I really couldn't give a shit what's going on here. It's a... I mean, it could be an interesting story. It's just,
It's boring.
It keeps going. I mean, yeah, it's trying to set up the feel and the atmosphere of the general story. Which, I mean, I probably, honestly, I probably would have given this story more of a time of day, more of leniency, more interest in general, if he didn't start it with this whole Zelrich intro. If he nixed that and just got straight into the first chapter, would have had more interest in this story. If it wasn't Fate Stay Night Dragon of Dragons, would have had way more interest in this story. If it didn't try and be like, this is AU, so it's gonna do AU things in the summary, would have had way more interest in the story. If it was actually a summary of what's going on, instead of just being like, well, in one world, canon happened, but this isn't canon. It's like, oh, fucking wow. The fanfiction isn't canon, guys. Call the presses. Alert the New York Post.
Amazing.
But yeah, so basically, it's in this case, it is literally the cover of the book killing the book. The inside of the book is, from what I read, It's not bad. It's not good. I give it like a 6, maybe. I guess a 5. A 5 as an intro. As an intro, I give it a 4. As per writing level, I give it maybe a 6. But as far as introduction, as what does the cover look like? What's the first page look like? What am I looking at here when I open up the book? I open up the book to this fucking narrative garbage. This fucking diarrhea of humor. And I'm just not interested. It sets me off. I'm just, I'm already looking for excuses not to read it.
I mean, you do have an excuse. It's already 9 o'clock.
I mean, well, yes, obviously, but I'm talking about if I was the average reader who is just wandering about the sections trying to find something to read. I would say I would give it maybe 2 times, maybe 3 times, maybe even 4 times generously. The amount of favorites and follows it has, if it actually had a passing name and a summary that was more than just, hey guys, this is gonna be an AU. It would probably be massively more popular, even with all the changes he made, because people don't want to reread canon, and while the author attempted, his attempt ended up making canon look better than his stuff. And that's something you never want to do if you want people to read your story. I mean, it's important info for a Ruby story. Well, everything's important info for a Ruby story because there's literally no info for a Ruby story. Either way, though, it is 9:06. Means it's closing time. I won't torch you guys with me singing the rest of that. So just
Thanks. I'm
Oh,
already
thank
having a
the
terrible
fucking
enough
Lord.
day as it is.
no problem. So I'll see you guys all next time. It's Tuesday. Yep. So Friday, I'll see you all Friday at 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, that's about it. Got nothing else to say. No other announcements to make. So I'll see ya, because there's always more, and it always gets worse.